All right, I'm joined now to sort out the whole Demarcus Robinson thing, where everything stands now that there's been a court resolution bringing criminal defense attorney Todd Bequette. Todd, I know you. We talked a couple of weeks ago with the Deommodore Lenoir situation, and now Demarcus Robinson, who was arrested in November on a DUI charge while he was a player for the LA Rams. 49ers signed him early in free agency. So now there is finally a resolution. Can you bring us up to date on that?
Sure, sure, Matt. So it's a pretty standard resolution of Demarcus Robinson's DUI case. In a DUI, you're always charged in the state of California with two misdemeanor offenses, at least if there's nothing else that went on, like an accident or things like that. You're charged with driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or higher, and simultaneously you're charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. So whether or not your blood alcohol was over the legal limit, they can still get you if you're driving under the influence. Pretty standard resolution in Demarcus Robinson's case. He admitted driving under the influence of alcohol, and the district attorney then dismissed driving with a blood alcohol of 0.08 or higher. He was given probation, fined, I think, $390, which he probably won't have a difficult time covering. And he'll have to do a first offender DUI program, among a few other things.
So, so tell me about how this impacts his availability for the 49ers this season under the NFL's policy on substances of abuse. He pleaded no contest to this. Is there what are the stipulations as far as the NFL's policy goes?
So, unlike other areas where you can run afoul with the law, the NFL does have a specific substance abuse policy, and for to be suspended under that policy, there does have to be a criminal conviction. It's not the case if you're accused of beating up your girlfriend and maybe the case gets dismissed. Um, but now that he has been convicted, he will likely, I would say it's likely that he will be suspended for 3 games without pay. 3 games is the standard first offender DUI punishment as dictated by the substance abuse policy by the NFL. But there are some reasons why we might believe that it may be more than 3 games. From reports, I understand that Demarcus Robinson was driving over 100 miles an hour during the DUI. He refused to cooperate with the police. And almost most unbelievably, he was driving without a valid California driver's license. So I think almost a slam dunk that he's suspended for 3 games. The question is, will there be another game or two tacked on?
Okay, so to bring everybody up to date, Demarcus Robinson signed a 2-year, $8 million contract with the 49ers. He has been in the NFL for 9 years, previous 2 years with the LA Rams. And so, under the NFL's kind of guidelines, if it's a 3 game suspension, or for him anyway, because he has a $1 million, $1.255 million base salary, it would be in essence 1/17th of that would be his fine per game. So if it is the 3 game suspension, it would be roughly $74,000 that he would not be earning on top of the, what'd you say, $390,
I
the
think so,
fine.
yes.
And so that's where that comes in. And for the 49ers, when they went out and they signed him, they were eyes wide open. They knew about this. They knew there was a situation potentially, but they liked him as a player. And this is a guy that started all 17 games for the Rams. Very similar offenses. Had only 31 catches, 505 yards, but 7 touchdowns. He's recognized as a good blocker. So I did reach out to the NFL, and the NFL Their statement on Demarcus Robinson is as follows. We have been monitoring developments in the matter, which remains under review. So the fact, Todd, that this was settled legally on July 8th and the 49ers first game is, early in September, I don't know, I'm asking you, I guess, to speculate, but wouldn't that give the NFL enough time to, if they're going to put in discipline, to have that kind of buttoned up before the start of the regular season?
Yes, I would think so. I mean, I think you probably know more about the NFL procedures with these suspensions than I do. But given the fact that an investigation doesn't have to take place, right? What triggers a suspension under the NFL substance abuse policy is the actual conviction. We have a conviction, so I would say they have plenty of time to impose the sentence before the beginning of the regular season.
Okay, I'm not a criminal defense attorney, but pleading no contest or what nolo contendere
Right.
is that is considered a conviction.
It is. I tell my clients it just sounds better, right? The judge tells the defendant before they plead no contest that, do you understand? If you plead no contest, I'm going to find you guilty. So same result accrues.
Okay. All right. So anything else about that situation as it pertains to the NFL that we should know about Demarcus Robinson and where things go from here with him?
I don't think so. I was sort of musing to myself about his situation and wondered before he took the plea deal whether he might just roll the dice at trial. You know, you can knock out a misdemeanor trial in the space of a few days. He could have done that in the summertime. The worst case scenario is he's out whatever the ten or $20,000 he pays his attorney to try the case. The upside is if he happens to win, he doesn't lose what is $80,000 in game checks.
Hmm.
But he probably did the prudent thing and got this behind him.
There were a couple continuances, right? So could he have continued to kind of, in essence, kick the can down the road to stave off any NFL discipline?
Well, theoretically, I mean, you do have a right to a speedy trial, but I have plenty of cases that have been kicking around the courthouse for more than 2 years.
Hmm.
So sure, if his attorney could have successfully, employed the time honored tradition of defense attorneys of delay, theoretically, he could have done that until his contract was up,
Hmm.
right? And then pled guilty. But I think the danger is you run into a judge who is maybe a Rams fan, who says no, we're having this trial, right? And we're having it during Rams week.
You're right. And I'm assuming also just getting it, not having it hanging over your head anymore is probably a relief to a lot of people as well.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I did talk to you several weeks ago. Can you kind of bring us back up to date? The first time I reached out to you was about the Deommodore Lenoir situation. He was arrested and booked on a charge of delaying and resisting a police officer. He was booked into jail and released a short time later. I know he has a court date set for July 25th. The 49ers report to training camp on July 22nd. So can you just give us just a quick summary on Deommodore Lenoir and what to look for there?
Sure. I think I think he won't be charged by the district attorney's office. I think that his conduct was, as we talked about last time, certainly ill-advised. But and did he technically impede an officer in the officer's duties? Yes, but it is my belief that the district attorney's office will exercise their discretion and not prosecute Mr. Lenoir. Now, the NFL views these things differently, right? Because it's not under the rubric of the substance abuse policy. Even though there's not a conviction in the Lenoir case, theoretically, the NFL should say, hey, you shouldn't be hanging around people with guns.
Mhm.
And they could suspend. I think that's unlikely as well.
Mhm.
But in non substance abuse cases, the NFL has carte blanche to suspend.
Okay. And so he is, like I mentioned, he is due to appear, or at least the next court date is scheduled for July 25th. Any reason for Deommodore Lenoir to leave training camp in Santa Clara to go to LA to appear in court on that day?
No. So again, that is a court date that was given to him upon his arrest, just sort of pro forma by a police officer, right? He has not been formally charged with a crime. If he is, then that will be his court date.
Hmm.
Even if he is, it's a misdemeanor offense, and in all misdemeanors, um, Mr. Lenoir's attorney can appear for him. So there's no reason he will miss training camp for that.
All right. Well, there's the 49ers court appearance update. I'll have you on speed dial, Todd, in case there's any other 49ers happenings. There was a time when there was a lot of these things going on, but with this organization, but it hasn't been that way for several years. But Todd, I do appreciate you checking in and bringing us up to date on the Demarcus Robinson situation as well as that's what's going on with Deommodore Lenoir.
Anytime, man.